this guy probably has scheduled more work than he could do in a day. I think this is a 1 day job. So if I just do an auto sum here, 19 and a half hours. So, and if it's a one-person shop, then that's a different story. So this is 8.1 as examples. And, yeah, now this one has a lot of errors in it that it has here too. So it's 4, 2, 1, 5, 3.5, and 4. Yep, that's it. So 8.1 is some work center has 6 jobs that are waiting. And he wants to know what's the best schedule for the work to have at the work center. So they said, let's try due date first. He's got an error here because what he puts on here is when did I start? And when did I finish? So I'll fill this part in, and it's pretty easy. It's just a matter of, I started at 0, and we don't know what day of the week or anything it is. We just say, we're just looking at this pile of work, and we're just gonna say we started at 0, and we're gonna end it at 0 plus 4. And now then, we could also say, you know, is it on time or not? It's due in 3 hours, so we'll put on schedule or something like that. And it's really isn't, because it's going to equal to, when was it due? Let's do, when did it finish? Minus, when was it due? Which means I'm an hour late. No, it's the other way around, isn't it? Yep, I have to do C minus F. So I'm an hour late. So then, all I really have to do here is that, you know, that was typed in value, but the this one's going to just be equal to, when did I finish that? Because I'm gonna immediately start this, and then this can drag that, well, that was in too. And now this row here is good the rest of the way down. So what you could, there's lots of things you can do. I like to do like conditional formatting and do put in a new rule, and the rule would be format cells. If the cell value is less than or equal to, no, less than 0, then I'm going to make it, I'm going to give it a fill color of pink, of some kind of pink there. So it's bad. That's a bad situation. Then I'm going to add another rule, additional formatting, manager rules. I'm going to add another rule, new rule. Cells that contain, if it's equal to or greater than 0, then that's a good thing. In this case, where I made a negative a bad thing, so I'm making a positive a good thing. And I'm going to give it some sort of a green background. So I was late on 4 jobs, and I was ahead of time on 3. I'm on 2. Okay? So that first in, first out, that's what it resulted in. Now, if I take this same stuff, and I don't need to total that again, it's going to still total the same thing. Copy it, paste it down here, but I should have done that too. copy, paste it down here. Now then, all I have to do, if I want to do, that was first in, first out, so I just did that. So let's paste it again and do the shortest amount of work. The shortest amount of work would mean that I would highlight these items and I would do a data sort, and I'm going to sort by the hours of work. So it's going to be column D. And look, it picked up the headings. So column D is hours of work remaining. I want to go from the smallest to the largest. That's correct. So now, just by going with the shortest amount of work, I have 4 jobs that are good, on time or early, very early. But I have 2 that are late, and one of them is really, really late. Hope customer A isn't my best customer. So see how easy this is? So you build one little table, just copy it down. Now, least amount of slack. Well, I've got to add a column here, but I can still copy all of that stuff. Paste it down here. And matter of fact, go ahead and paste it here too. Now then, I want least amount of slack. I'm going to have to add a slack, so I'm going to go ahead and just insert a column for slack. Yeah. Insert. To the right. And I'm going to put a slack in here. But so my slack is going to be how much time do I have between when is it due versus how much work it is. And I'm going to do it just on a theoretical point of view because it's slack is not going to be when it actually starts. But when was due, because it will have to work on when we actually finish it later. So it's just going to equal to how much slack do I have? It's due in 4 hours, but it's going to take me 1 hour. So I've got 4 minus 1. And then that's good all the way down. Then highlight just this part. Leave these alone. I don't want that 0 to be moved. I want 0 to stay top left corner. So that's why I didn't pick that. If it fights you about that, fight it back. So I want to sort this by slack, which is, it didn't pick up this time. Oh, see, it thinks there's headers that I highlighted. I didn't highlight a header, so I'm going to click that off. It's going to use my first line as headers if I don't do that. Watch out for that. Now then, it's giving me column number, so column B. Then I want to go from least slack to most slack and say OK. And then in that case, I'm going to go A, C, B, E, D, F. And I'm going to be on schedule for 4, so I was more happy customers here, but I had one that was really, you got to know your people. If A and D are understanding parties, this is what I'm going to pick. But so there's some qualitative values you're going to look at with this. Now then, critical ratio is the slack to the so I go ahead and put slack in and get them insert one more column. Insert. And I'm going to go ahead and bring slack down here, copy and paste it there. Yeah, we use slack for the critical ratio. The critical ratio is how, or I don't do that. Critical ratio is, no, I don't need that. It's strictly division of your, when is it due versus how much time you have. So I'm wrong there. I didn't need that. Thank you. Delete. So I'm going to use critical ratio. And it's strictly going to equal to how much work do I have to do versus how much work is left versus when it's due. So I think it was 4 divided by, when that was this divided by 4. I got that backwards, didn't I? So it's C divided by D. I have to think about these things, that's fine. I like this trial and error, that's not right either. Oh yeah, it is, that's correct. That's correct, because this is C, which C was 4 here. That's it, so that's the right value. And then, so the critical ratio, and if I sort by that, data sort, and I'm going to sort by column E again. Smallest critical ratio to the largest critical ratio.
What was the critical ratio?
It's the formula is to take the, when is it due and how much work's left.
So divide the due by
Yeah,
the
due
work
divided
left.
by hours of work. So that just means that this one, you know, it's similar to slack in a sense, but it's a ratio. And it doesn't do as good as slack, right? So if you look at the results of these, is which one do you think is best? Well, it's not that easy to answer. This one looks horrible. I think you're probably gonna not have anybody too happy except for D. And if they really didn't care to get it till the 15 hours out, and you finished it 6 hours early, you're not gonna get any attaboys for that either. So you could then start a discussion of which one is best. So that's what they asked. And this. So he tells you the trade-offs and the due date, we had 4 of the 6 jobs late, but none were very late. The total lateness for all 4 jobs was only 3 hours. For the SPT rule, shortest production time, shortest processing time, which I call just the least work. However, there were only 2 jobs late, but they were very, very late. So see, you gotta kind of look at the two, and the combined lateness was 12 hours. And so he gives you, right after each one, it should be really obvious that this case is probably not the best. He's talking about total slack, because it, well, and I should have called it total slack, but it's in order of the least slack. I'm gonna take the ones that have the least slack first. So this was promised in 3 hours, so it's 4 hours worth of work. So, oops. So this says that, oops, you better do that one first. But I'm still gonna be an hour late on that one, an hour late on this one. I'll be ahead on that one and that one, but then I'm gonna be a half hour late on them. But if that 1 hour and half hour is, if your type of business, that's not so terribly sensitive. Now, if you were shutting FedEx down for an hour at night, you'd be in big trouble. You would not survive. But it depends on the nature of your product, depends on the nature of your customers. So you've got to use a lot of qualitative judgment too. But this is just to show you that if you set these rules, remember what the rule is, MRP automatically goes to first in, first out, right? And first in, first out.
No,
really
due date, not
Oh,
first in,
due
first
date,
out.
due date, that's right. So if I did by due date, date. Let's do, yeah, there it is, that was in order by due date. Almost, D and E weren't. Let's sort this one by due date.
First one?
By C, because we got these two first. Sort by C. So this would be due date. It'd be A, C, D, E, B, F. And, you know, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I think this one, like I say, if A and D are good sports and can handle it, that one certainly has the higher number of happy people, but an A may not equal a B, may not equal a C.
On the actual 8-2 homework tab that you got, you have it listed as estimated repair time in minutes, but time until due in hours.
Let's look at that. Over here,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Is that the way you gave it?
I don't know, but you're not gonna have anything late if you're dealing with hours to minutes. I mean, minutes to hours.
Yeah, these are hours. They're both hours. So what you've got is these examples, and then you've got this estimated due, time due. So this is you're gonna do the same thing. There's more jobs, but you're basically gonna do the same thing that was done over here. And I didn't do the coloring here. I called it late. Yes and no, but I like better to have this just, you know, automatically updates. I don't have to type all that in the cell. I like, quicker is better in my case. So you do what makes you happiest. But always put in a little bit of a discussion, the conditions, which one you think. So he didn't do it, but I put in here under number 2, I put A was due time, B is first come, first served, C was shortest processing time, D is total slack, E was critical ratio. So those, I want you to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ones. And I just lettered them A, B, C, D, E, and just to separate them. But you can do it just like this, just copy them onto the same sheet, as long as you don't leave me a lot of space. If you leave me a whole lot of space to scroll, I may not scroll, and I don't see your work. So we're gonna do 7-1, and we're gonna do 7-3. So 7-1 is very similar, pardon me. I'm looking at the wrong one. We're doing, 8-2 and 8-3, not 8-5, right? 8-5 is not on the list, is it?
It is not.
I've got it here, but you don't have to do it, remember?
The Dropbox is just 2 and 3.
That's what I'm thinking, she's only 2 and 3. So,
Was it magnet in the keyboard?
there's your A, B, C, D, and E. And make some comments about it, and then here is another one, setup time and run time.
My mistake. I was just like,
In 8-3, it's saying a new job has just arrived at the production facility. It's currently at the start of day 143. Now, there's a lot of ways of doing that. These are all in minutes. Then I did it in hours, and then I did it in days. It gave me hours and minutes. Setup time and hours, run time and minutes. So I've got to do a little bit of consolidation here, right? Well, that was done over here too. So here's the setup time. Here's the, in minutes, converted to minutes. Total time in minutes. And then, total time in hours. So you're gonna have to do that, come up with how long does a job take. And you might even want to convert that to days. In this case, productive hours per day was 7 hours. but productive time, and the other one is 8 hours, and the homework one is 8 hours. And you don't have a due day available. But what you really are gonna do is come out here, and here's what you're saying is, I do days as fractional days. And if you're gonna go like, first in, first out, and you're gonna go in that order of, and when are you gonna finish the job? In this case, he gave you due date, you don't have that in your homework, so you wouldn't have to worry about this. But you would put day started and day completed as two different. So I would leave me a column over here for total hours or minutes. Total hours. So, and page 3.
Hours per day was 8 hours.
Job cost production of 200 units. And these are the operations to produce. So this one product is going through these steps. So this is one product. The productive time is 8 hours a day. And so I'm gonna get total hours, and it was 200 units. So this is given information as well. And that was 2. So now then, to get total hours, I'm gonna do one setup, so this is gonna equal to a setup plus a run, which I'm gonna put in parentheses, just for my mental health, of how many pieces, and I'm gonna go ahead and lock on that, because I'm gonna copy this formula down. 200 units times 3.5 minutes, but those are still minutes, right? And I need to make it hours, so I'm gonna put another parentheses in here, and I'm gonna divide that by 60. So this will all be in hours, right? Does everybody agree? Is math okay? So and I don't like that many decimals. I don't want to get rid of them, I just don't want to look at them. So I'll go this way. Now then, that's gonna be all the way down, since this is the only one that's locked. So I could just do that all the way down. So now I know exactly how long the total of the job is gonna be in hours, but I want to convert that to days. So that's total days. And that's just gonna equal to my hours divided by
8.
the hours in a day. And lock on that. And again, I just don't like looking at all the decimals, so they're unnecessary. That's probably close enough. And I drag that down, and then I can actually drag this over. Fewer keystrokes is always better. So this is how many days. So if I'm gonna start at day 143, then I'm gonna finish, so 143 was given. So I can do that. And then I'm gonna finish in whatever to the left of me, plus how long the project took. And I'll make them all at least 1 decimal. Yeah, I think 1 decimal is gonna be for days. So this is the start day,
Was start dates.
and this is the finish day. But and you gotta be careful of something he messed up in the book, in his example. Then this works Well, that doesn't work all the way out. As soon as I finish that one, I'm going to start the next one. And then, this I'll drag down one, and now I can do all of these the rest of the way down. Oop. No reason to total these. So I'm gonna finish on day 153.4. My guess, if I'm doing this right. Now then, there's another option though, that uses forward scheduling. When will be expected to be done, assuming the right capacity is available when called for? So that's the answer, and whenever you do that, highlight the answer. There's the answer, bold it, whatever. Don't make it red letters on the pink background that I can't read. Now then, the other choice, I can copy all of this, paste it just down below for part B. And you gotta be careful, because sometimes when you lock on something here, locking on those two is good. But if you lock on anything else, you might be in trouble with copy and paste of cells. I think we're okay here. But here, they wanted to work backwards. And they want to finish at day 173. 173. So that's now a given. And then all of this goes away, sort of. And then this one is going to equal to 173 minus 142. And then this one is going to exactly equal to, Excel's funny, it doesn't care if you go backwards. Now then, that could go up one, and this could go all the way up. So I actually could get this project done by starting on day 162.6. Stuff's easy.
So would you highlight 162.6?
I would, yeah, I would. That'd be my answer. You're exactly right. So I like quick and dirty, so I'll do that.
And I know it's given that it's 8 hours a day, but would that be like considered available hours in a day?
Well, that's what he says.
Okay.
He says 8 of productive capacity per day.
Okay.
So he gave, that was given, so we lived it. I would be skeptical, like you were, that's the right thing to do. I'd say maybe 7.2 or 7 something, but 8 seems kind of, maybe they work 9-hour days, I don't know.
They're just really efficient.
But this is, so gotta keep in mind, this is one product going through 6 operations. It has to go through in that order. So if we want to finish this job, and we'll start it right now, or right now is day 143, it'll be done in 10 days, 10.42 days. And then if I want to finish on this day and work backwards, like Nick says he likes due date backwards. So he's not going to start until day 162. He's going to start almost a week after that one. Or whatever it is. So here we're not keeping up with what the actual dates are, we're just counting hours. And if you try to do something like this with Microsoft Project, you've got to do actual dates. Project doesn't like doing this kind of stuff. But that's really all there is to this. So that's the actual homework right there.
On 8.2, the due date and FIFO is gonna be the same thing, right? On 8.2, because you've got
Yeah,
2, 3, 5, 5, 6, 7,
but-
9, and 10.
Right, but if you go back to what did I call it? Here I went back and resorted it and swapped D and E. It said and due date. So due date and FIFO aren't the same because D is bigger than E.
I mean, okay.
Due date and FIFO aren't exactly the same because D was bigger than E.
In 8.2,
No, I was in this example here, so in 8.2,
It should be the
they
same.
are in order, so yeah, they could be the same.
Due date and FIFO would be
Yeah.
the same on that one, right?
They would be.
Okay.
Quick question.
You know, because see, again, these are different, this is bicycle shop, and these are different bicycles, so these are different customers. You gotta remember what the basis is. So this is customers A through H. And he's already booked more than he has in a day. He works long days, I suppose.
He works 10 hours and books 10 and a half.
Yeah. So, the guy's gonna be working overtime to get this work done, and he's not gonna finish them and make everybody happy. They're planning on coming in during lunch or whatever, their break, to get their bicycle. Now, backing up to chapter 7.
Yeah, chapter 7 confused.
Anybody managed to get through chapter 7?
So I got it done, but I did it before you posted the new template. So,
Yeah, I didn't see any template.
It's somewhat close to
The
yours.
template's
but
in the content
it doesn't have
section
like
now.
the very close, yeah.
It's all over the place.
No, the actual
Well, she
upgraded
actually
template
added-
is in the content section,
Yeah, well, I mean, I've already finished it, and I just used my
if
own.
you need it.
Yeah, I just created it.
Thank you.
She created an intermediate step because she didn't like the way that I jumped into. My formulas would be a little, swirly for right here. So she created a step over here and then you complete these. Because here, you've gotta consider the product structure tree,
Do you want my jump drive?
the number of parts.
See, I didn't have that part that you just had, can you scroll down just a bit?
I still don't
So I
understand.
didn't have the actual standard hours each product we used, I actually used a different formula in my scheduling for product C and D. I've incorporated all that into my formula on those products. Coming off of that.
Did you do the homework quiz? Can you
Yes.
say answers?
Yes, sir.
So there's more than one way to do this.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure. I
If yours is easier, maybe that we should be training people with that one.
I wouldn't say it was easy, it makes sense to me.
That's the thing, that's what you really gotta do, is do one, do logic, make sure the logic is right. There are no holes in your flaws in your logic.
Yeah, no, all my.
Good.
Number answers.
I like to see, improved processes. Now, I need to continuously improve myself. Yes, sir.
I don't quite understand. So it's asking us, you know, set up capacity bills, which I'm guessing is all this work here. And it says determine the capacity needed per work center to run the following master schedule. Is the capacity needed per work center, is that the WC 100 and just your average?
Yeah, work centers, so these are three